after my first show, I rebounded so bad. It took about 4 years for my body to get back to normal. So,
Wow. Explain rebound. Explain rebound.
well, I couldn't control my eating, and I put on 50 pounds in like a month and a half.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Good for people
and
to hear that. For people to hear
it
that,
was really hard. I remember laying on the bathroom floor, being in so much pain from eating food while laying on the floor, still eating cereal, like wanting to throw up.
Me being silly, naive, a typical guy, I can assume two things. It's either raunchy or you're showing off your toes, and everyone loves your toes. I don't know. So what is it?
It's both.
Okay, it's both. It's raunchy and it's raunchy toes. IFBB Pro Women's Bodybuilding, 2023 Europa Pro Champ, 2022 Tampa Pro Champ, 2 in the O, Olympia, achieving extraordinary placings, 8th and 9th. She pays cash for boobs, quite the fan, even only fan. Body bling babe, without risk, there's no reward. Evolve or repeat. Sometimes you got to remind them muscle is sexy. Please help me welcome, no reminders needed here, Chelsea Dion.
That was great. Love that. Thank you.
I tell you what, those intros, and I never prepare for them. I don't proofread. Do you proofread when you type? Do you
Absolutely not. I feel bad when I put up a caption, or I write this big thing on Instagram and it's all there's errors left and right, and then I don't want to go fix it because then it messes up the algorithm, and so I just let it be.
I know, but sometimes you want to say to someone, like I'll be there soon, and then suddenly says like I'll die there soon, and you go, I didn't type die. What the hell's that? So
when it changes from duck to fuck.
Oh, that's true. All right, you know what?
I hate it.
Oh, I tell you what, and I'm going to say to you, I've been fasting. Now I'm going to ask you a fasting question. I've been fasting for the last 24 hours, and I'm going to try another 24, which I feel I've done this before, but I feel each time you do it, like even when I look at Chris, I think salt and pepper, he'd be all right to eat right now. That's how hungry I am right now. And my staffy looks pretty good too. So tell me something. Do you fast at all? What's fasting like? Do you fast at all?
I do not, but it is something that I've been interested in possibly incorporating in my off season, just to give like the body a digestion break.
That's what I'm
because
trying
we're constantly eating like 7 meals a day, and it's supposed to like increase your growth hormone, or it's supposed to have some really good benefits. So it is something that I've been interested in for sure.
Yeah, I don't know exactly the benefits, but I used to do it once a week, and I only did it when I felt like I got up in the morning and I felt I could go for more hours. So I fast from the moment I go to, like my last dinner, if it's 7 p.m., I go to 7 p.m. And the reason I do that is by 7 a.m., you've already done 12 hours. So it's really cool. So, yeah. And what about, I'm going to ask you a question. What about fasting, cardio fasting? Do you cardio fast? Yeah, people say, I don't need, I go fast. I mean, I fast and I do a bit of cardio. Are you into that?
Yeah, I really enjoy my fasted cardio. It really just, I think, depends on the person and the body type. Like my boyfriend is the type who gets lean very quickly, so he can do fed cardio and it'll benefit him a little bit better. As me, I kind of need that extra push when it comes to dropping weight, because my body likes to hold on to size. So I do like my fasted cardio. Plus, I like to just start my day that way. I hop on the treadmill, get on my phone, work on my phone, and that type of stuff.
Okay. How long do you go for, do you think? How long should a fasted cardio go for?
I do just 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. Yeah, even when I'm in prep, it's 30 minutes.
Okay. Well, all right, let's start with a Joan of Arc quote. Now, people might not know I actually don't really know who Joan of Arc is, but she's revered as a martyr and is viewed as an obedient daughter to the Roman Catholic Church. But she was also she led people into war. She was a peasant girl, believing that she was acting under the divine guidance, and led, listen to this, the French army into a momentous victory over the Orleans 1429 repulse against England. So England hated her. So one of her quotes says this: "One life is all we have, and we live it as we believe in living it. But to sacrifice what you are and to live without belief, that is a fate more terrible than dying. If I am not, may God put me there. And if I am, may God so keep me there." What do you think of that quote?
Thank you everyone for supporting us on Muscle Talks podcast. What I'd really like is for you guys to hit the subscribe button. Why hit the subscribe button? It just lets us get a bigger reach, a bigger audience, and also some of the greatest guests. You've probably already seen we've had a few Olympians on, and we're striving to actually get right up there on the 1, 2s, and 3s. Yes, possibly even C-Bum on here. So guys, subscribe, come on a journey with us with Muscle Talks. Now let's get back to the podcast.
Well, I heard the first part. You kind of broke up a little bit with the.
Okay. Yes.
It was after.
Did I?
Yeah, talking about like it was after the part where you said something about not being who you are, kind of. Is that what it was? I heard like half of it.
Okay, I'll say it one more time. One life is all we have, and we live it as we believe in living it. But to sacrifice what you are and to live without belief, that is fate more terrible than dying. If I'm not, may God put me there. And if I am, may God so keep me there.
Okay, I did hear that.
Okay. So I'll tell you how I interpret it. I interpret it that she's saying, if you don't live your true life, and if you aren't willing to sacrifice to live, then it's a fate that's terrible, more terrible than dying.
Yeah, that's how I took it. I took it as like, if you're not living how you want to live, it's basically you're not living. You know, you're not being your true potential. You're not doing what you want to do. You're not doing what fills your heart with purpose and your soul with purpose. So you'd rather, might as well die.
And I feel like it's funny because I didn't really proofread that either. But what I found was you're a bit like that, aren't you? When I watch your posts, you're a bit like that, aren't you?
I like to think so. Being a female bodybuilder and doing like what we do, it isn't like your normal like life. I don't work a 9 to 5. I've never envisioned myself working a 9 to 5, even when I was younger. And now that I look back at it, I never pictured myself having children or having, that type of life, a white picket fence and a husband who goes and works. Never imagined that for myself. And that's not what I live. I have a very different type of life. I'm basically a full-time bodybuilder, and, I do whatever I want, whenever I want. And it feels good to just be who I am and be able to live my life, be able to have my bills paid doing what I love to do. Like that in itself is a huge blessing. And so yeah, it is really nice to not have to like conform to society's standards and be a normal person. I guess.
No, I also know the challenges to do that. That is like, first and foremost, no one would know this, but the way you explain it to me, you're a businesswoman that's basically growing her own brand. So basically you're out there marketing Chelsea.
Me.
Just like we're marketing Muscle Talks at the brand, you're the brand. And my daughter, she's in performing arts. And I told her that if she doesn't see herself as a business, she may not get somewhere in it. You got to really look at it. Take the creative arts, take the stage is what you're at, but what are you doing off the stage to grow the business, to be able to do what you're doing? So I guess you are a tad I'll say entrepreneurial. I do try not to lower the entrepreneurial status like everyone is doing right now. It seems like you can earn 50K a year and you're an entrepreneur. I'm not at that level. I prefer you to have private jets and Lamborghinis and fly to Dubai to call yourself an entrepreneur. But you are definitely a businesswoman doing great things. Since we're starting, tell us about you. Introduce yourself. So if someone now pops on, give us the Chelsea story. Go. Who is Chelsea?
Well, my name is Chelsea Dion.
Yes.
I am 32 years old, and I've been a pro since 2021. I won the overall at Nationals December 2021, and then had my pro debut in July 2022. I played sports really my whole life, and so I feel like that's kind of, like the backbone to what got me to being a bodybuilder. I've always been interested in the gym, and I really fell in love with it. I fell in love with getting strong, and with that came my physique changing, and that's when I really was like, what is this? Like, I need to compete one day. And I've just been, life has been up and down, a lot of downs over the last 10 years, but I always just kept pushing forward, and I just knew in my heart that I just needed to keep training and keep focusing on possibly competing one day. And I just knew that it would really pay off one day. And so to see the way that my life is kind of manifested, it just is, I like to say that it is almost unreal to me sometimes. To look back at the last 2-3 years that I've lived have been a complete 180 as to where my life was. So I'm very thankful for everything that I'm just so thankful for all of the blessings and the amazing things that I have been able to do the past 2 years, 3 years, and I'm really looking forward to what I can truly bring in the next couple of years.
That is I can see that, and it is amazing, and quite a task, especially quite a task to be a bodybuilder and try to make it a full-time career, because many people need to find other jobs. Some have got other jobs, and some, like I said, I tell a lot of people, it's 5%. In other words, 100% of people, or whatever it is in the bodybuilding industry, usually the 5%, maybe they've got it right in relation to business, the way they train, the way they compete, everything. It's always a small number. We believe everyone's onto it, but they're not. It's just the way it goes, It's a number that make it happen. So I've got here one of your recent posts. You said, sorry, I've been a little missing in action from posting. And it says, it's usually because I feel inspired to say something, share what's going on and how I'm feeling. And I think you said something, I'm not in the gym killing it with workouts at the moment. So things have changed a little bit right now. So explain your latest post to us.
Okay, so like I said, I won my pro card in 2021. I went from that, 6 months later, I did my pro debut. So I was ready to get on the pro stage and see what I could do. And my body completely changed. I went from looking like a good amateur competitor to a legit pro. And so I had an amazing pro season, won my second pro show, went to Rising Phoenix, and then did the Olympia in December. And then I had originally planned on taking 2023 off, so I could work on adding size. One of the things that the judges tell me is I just need some density. So I don't necessarily need to get bigger. It's just the density. And so I know that comes with time. So I was going to take the year off, but then I had this amazing opportunity to be part of an all women's documentary. And they were following 3 athletes in bodybuilding, and they chose me as one of them. And so I was like, dude, I can't sit at home. I can't sit this season out. I gotta give them something to want to film. And so me and my coach agreed, like, okay, let's aim for like one of the very last shows of the season to qualify, because I really did need like a little bit of a break. And so we prepped for Spain, which was the last show to qualify, and won that one. 2 weeks later, Rising Phoenix. Then 5 weeks later, the Olympia. And
Yes.
my body by the time we hit the Olympia was just tired. It was done. And
I've got
so
a
I
question
knew
on
that,
that one.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
I knew
Pick it up. Yeah.
2024 was the year that I have to force myself to take time off. And so
Yeah.
with that, I'm sponsored with a HRT company, Rise HRT, and they do GI maps. And since like 2017, I've been noticing a little bit of like scalp psoriasis that would, kind of flare up every once in a while. And that originally starts in the gut. So I knew that something was kind of going on as far as that, but my digestion's always been fine. I've never had any problems with like bloating. And so I wasn't quite sure, what was going to go on with the GI map. So we got that done, and I have some issues that need to be fixed. And it makes complete sense, because if your body is not absorbing nutrients properly, how can you peak it for a show?
I think no one understands. That's such an important. Our gut is important.
Yes, your gut controls so much of what's going on with your body, your immune system, your energy productions, the list goes on. So we looked at my GI map and we said, okay, we got to take 12 weeks to fix this. And so basically it's just been a 12-week gut protocol that I started. I'm only 3 weeks in. And so we've had to reduce my training intensity. So I'm like barely training really. It's just mostly going in there, getting a mind muscle connection, getting out.
Yeah.
I'm training every other day, and we went from 7 meals down to 4. To kind of, give the stomach a break. I'm only eating specific foods. I'm taking a ton of supplements. So once this 12 weeks are over, like I am ready to like hit the gym so hard, man. I was, let's see, in December, I was like training super hard. My strength was up, and then I had to, reduce it. So I'm just really looking forward to training again.
I guess sometimes we take for granted, you just can't go pedal to the metal. You just can't.
No, you can't.
You can't. The motor will blow up. And I guess as much as you're a pro, you are in a different league, and you still have to understand what it takes for your body to stay in that league. So you're still I guess that's the great thing about bodybuilding. The one thing about bodybuilding is we think it's over, but it's never over. We're going to train till we're 80. We're just trying to preserve that muscle. We're trying our best to ever evolve. That's what bodybuilding is. Like, if you don't pick up a barbell or a dumbbell, you don't stimulate that muscle, well, it kind of retracts a little bit. It kind of it wants to go back home, wherever that home is. So wherever stimulating. So I guess you need to probably understand what pro level is, where you've left amateur, you've left the beginners, so some of us are still trying to work that part out, but you now need to work out the elite level. And that's, I think, the difference.
Yeah, I'm in a position right now where like I'm very close to the top. I placed fifth at the Rising Phoenix, and that show was more stacked than the Olympia. And they compared me to Andrea for a full round through, and that right there was all I needed for me to realize my potential. Because in a way, I've kind of had some type of like imposter syndrome. Like, there's no way that I am winning pro shows, like, and so that's what I was kind of feeling after my first pro season. I was like, there's no way. I just happened to win a pro show because of X, Y, and Z. I just happened to play ninth at the Olympia because of this. And so I needed to reassure myself in 2023 that no, bitch, you do deserve to be here. And now I'm at a level where everything matters, where you know, any way that I can have a level, you know, a step above the competition is going to matter. So this health break that I'm taking, the reason why I'm taking it is because I may be taking a few steps back, but it's going to catapult me 20 steps forward because my body is going to be running so fucking good. Like
Yeah.
it's just gonna be, it's gonna be really good for my physique. So I'm just
It's
trying to
like
remind myself that constantly.
Are you fat up or fed up? Tired of boring food? We just cooked this from our What Should I Eat cookbook. It's also on an ebook, making it more affordable for you. So,
get your copy at threeog.shop.
when did the imposter syndrome start? I have an imposter syndrome.
Mhm.
And I'm scared that that fucking imposter syndrome is going to take things away from me. So how do you fight the imposter syndrome?
That's a tough question. I mean, this year definitely helped a little bit with the imposter syndrome because it made me realize that like last year was not a fluke, or 2022 wasn't a fluke. Um, I don't know. I guess I just have to like, I sit down, I journal a lot. And so I think kind of just like going over what has happened and like reaffirming it to myself kind of helps with the imposter syndrome.
Because you mentioned something that I think a lot of us have. I do. And this is like kind of why the podcast is to share and help someone out there. They might be watching this podcast and you give a woman or a guy this, he's feeling imposter. So yeah, how do you do it? How did you do it? Because I have it and I'm struggling sometimes.
I think 2023 last year really kind of helped me kind of confirm that I'm not just like an accident. It wasn't just like an accident that I did super well. And so I think like since I do a lot of journaling, um, I'm able to like sit down and kind of like reaffirm that those things happened and just kind of like reaffirm that like you are worth these things that have happened. And I think that's a problem is people don't think they're worthy of the things
I
that they've
don't.
achieved.
Yeah. I
But
know
we
I
are.
don't.
We've obviously
Yeah.
achieved them. So we are obviously worthy of them. So we should be a little bit more loving to ourselves and, you know, be like, yeah, you fucking did that, you know?
So you journal. Tell me about journaling. What do you journal?
I
Teach me.
do.
I try to journal, but what is your journaling like?
So my big thing is I like to start my day off with like gratitude. So I like to start with 3 things that I'm grateful for. So it doesn't matter what they are. Sometimes it can be even the most simplest things as the sun is shining. I'm grateful for the sun shining
Yeah.
on me.
Yeah.
And so I like to really start my day with like being grateful for those things. And then I like to do things that I am open to receiving. So I'm always open to receiving business opportunities. I'm always open to receiving clarity mentally. I'm always open to receiving money opportunities, you know? And then I go into a kind of like thanking the universe. So I write, universe, thank you for putting me where I am today. And then I kind of go into kind of like the things that I am like thinking of lately, and whether it's like, okay, I know I can go harder in the gym. I've been given the opportunity to have A, B, and C. So I'm going to do my best to do this and that. It's just kind of like talking to myself, hyping myself up a little bit while thanking the universe for, putting me where I am and giving me what I have and those types of things. So I try to do that every other day.
Okay. And because I'm trying to journal, and I agree with the gratefulness part. So tell me, you've got another post, and grateful is very important. I actually say thank you I try to do 24-hour gratefuls. So tomorrow
Mm.
I'll be thankful that you were on my podcast. So I'll mention your name and I'll say that was lovely. So 4 days ago you posted, and it was quite a lovely photo, and you wrote, evolve or repeat. It's entirely up to you. What does that mean?
So say you want to get better, you want to be a better bodybuilder. Well, and you're not getting better. You either have to change what you're doing or continue repeating what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it's up to you. You got to make the change to evolve, or you're gonna continue repeating what you're doing and stay stuck where you're at. It's that simple.
I agree. Okay. And you've also wrote another post 7 days ago, because I'm checking what you're doing lately.
I like to write and post. So
you do, and it's great. No, but you know what I like about your post? You're very different to everyone else. You're actually very thankful also to the people that are supporting you, like your sponsors. You always seem to really write. You must spend a lot of time, but you're really plugging them nicely. It's just the way you do it. No one does that, and I'm just noticing. You'll write a post, but you'll always go down and thanking your sponsors and people. So it's very good what you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, they support me, so I have to support them. You know what I mean?
But a lot of people are so self-centered, they forget to thank people. You know what I mean? When it's too late. So keep going. So you said, here's it's a song. So your post was a song. You went, here's to good people, good nights, good highs, good health, and so on. And then counting your blessing, here's to good music, great sex, little time, feel alive, little time. Why that song?
Oh, I don't know. I just heard it and I just kept it on repeat, and it's like a feel good song,
I like that song.
It's a really good one.
Yeah.
So I like to share stuff like that.
Yeah, well, it had some great words, and I saw that you emphasized the song along.
Yeah.
You said, my man is lucky. He gets a million different body types with me. Shredded, soft, hard, jiggly, a little extra grab. So being a bodybuilder is awesome, but loving yourself every stage is difficult. It's something I have to constantly work on. Taking sexy pics of yourself helps. Tell us more.
It does help. But yes, I like to joke that my boyfriend gets like 4 or 5 different types of girlfriends with me, because he gets the soft off season, he gets the hard shredded, he gets so many different types of me. And loving yourself in every single phase is so incredibly hard, especially when you set that standard for yourself of like, you think it's your best physique ever, but really you can't stay 5% body fat, especially being a woman. You know what I mean? And so you always have that standard in your head. Like all last year while I was prepping, I kept holding myself to the standard of my pro debut season, where I got crazy peeled. Like for Tampa Pro, I was shredded out of my brain, but I was also flat. So the whole entire year last year, I kept comparing myself to the year before, and it was just like kind of ruining my joy. I was like, I'm not ready, I don't look good. And we could be our worst
mind games.
Yes, we could be our worst critics, we could be our biggest enemies. And now that I have a full year of like being a normal person, and not being like shredded, I have to love myself regardless. So it's definitely a self-love journey that I'm also on as well. I feel like I look like I don't work out anymore, but clearly I do look like I still work out. But it's hard.
It is hard. Well, firstly, 2 things I'm going to say. One, being that your boyfriend gets so many different body types, does he also get so many different personality types? Does he have to do with the different women?
I was gonna say that he gets many different personalities too. But that's another thing too that I'm really kind of like excited for off season, and having a whole year of off season is like, I feel like I'm finally like
Mhm.
becoming myself again.
Yes, yes.
Because when I prep,
Yes.
I become not there totally. You know, I'm just in my own world. All I'm thinking about is, you know, the Olympia, or all I'm thinking about is my next posing routine practice or next gym thing. I visualize a lot. So
Mm.
it feels good to like be able to joke around again and like, you know, feel lighthearted, because prep is really like, it's hard. It is really hard.
No.
And when you have two people who live with each other
Mm.
24/7, you
Mm.
know, you get in your own routines. And so one big focus is this off season is, you know, keeping that relationship a priority, loving myself in every phase, and just being healthy.
Yeah. Is he a bodybuilder?
Yes, he does classic physique.
Okay. It's you know, bodybuilding can be a curse. It can be relentless on us. Even I don't compete, but the fact that I judge my body when I stand in front of the mirror, that it is year by year, I go like, oh, why have I put on this weight? What happened to the guy that could fit in those jeans? Like we predominantly do it like, call it vanity as well. It can be overloaded, but I mean, especially at your level, I can only imagine. But even at my level, I'm damning myself all the time. But the other thing is that I found is this guy that was once, who ran a few seminars that I went to, said this once. Do you know when you, and you have to as a bodybuilder, the mirror is supposedly your best friend and it's not. But do you know when you go back to the mirror a second time, you're actually looking for flaws? So if you look at the mirror and you go, wow, I look good. He said, and it's true. But when you go back the second time, you're actually not looking for better. You're actually looking for flaws. So
Interesting. I just
just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So why I say that is, and again, I'm not your coach. What I'm saying is maybe the fact that you need the mirror so much to prepare yourself for comps. How about when you're off season, use that mirror less to look at yourself, say, oh, look good, but don't go back. Get the fuck away from that mirror.
That's good
You know?
advice for sure.
Yeah, so there you go. Remember when you win Olympia that you say, this guy in Australia told me never to don't look at the mirror twice, because the second time you go back, you're looking for flaws. And each time you go back, it's more and more flaws you look for. You're fighting for flaws.
Absolutely, I could see that.
Yeah, 15th of January, you did a post and you said you had someone actually put gas in your car. I mean, it must have been a long time ago.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you were reflecting that you were in San Diego.
Yeah.
You had nothing in the bank. And you remember crying in the car. And then you also mentioned there was a coach that saw the potential in you and prepped you without wanting anything in return. And seeing people today, you're so thankful for every single one of those people. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I have been so blessed to have just like so many random people along my journey help me out. And at the time, you don't think about the bigger picture, but looking back at it now, and especially where I'm at, it's just, there's days where, you know, it goes back to the being grateful for things, right? I was just sitting back, looking back on life, and I remember that moment, and I was like, just remembering how lost and how like I didn't know what I was doing. I had no money. I was like barely able to survive, working like 2 jobs. And there was this random person who like sent me money to fill up my gas tank, and I just remember like filling it up and like crying because I hadn't been able to fill up my gas tank, and I can't tell you how long, you know. So and then it just got me thinking about, like I said, my first coach who reached out to me on Instagram. This was 2013. He reached out to me and was like, yo, you've got potential. Like, let me sponsor you and coach you for your first show. And we did it. We did my first show in 2014. Did I really look like I was ready? No, but I was able to do it. I got on stage. My mom and my grandma were able to be there and see me compete. They've both passed since then,
Yeah.
and so they were only able to see that one show. So
Mm-hmm.
I thank the universe every day that they were able to just see a little piece of what my life was about to be, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Most
know that
definitely.
they are watching in heaven, just so
Mm-hmm.
supportive. And
They
my
are.
grandma, I'm sure she's like so stoked, you know. So I've just been really, really, really blessed with a lot of people who've helped me along the way. I don't know if it's because like, you know, they see something in me, or because I try to be, you know, very friendly to everybody. I always try to do what I can for other people. And so maybe it's because people saw that, and, you know, but I'm very just thankful that I've been able to have help from people. I wish I could go back and tell them thank you. Some of them, you know, some people are some of the things are so random. And
Mm-hmm.
there was one guy, he was a
Yeah.
bodybuilder who took me
Yeah.
under his wing when I first started training, and he was like, I will train you every day. You just have to be here at 7 a.m. And so I made sure I got there 7 a.m. before I worked my 2 jobs. I'd go train, and I learned a lot from him. And I don't know where he is now, but I hope he is proud of me.
Yeah. Wow. It's great to know that. And the other thing is with bodybuilding, it's an expensive sport with, don't get me wrong, but with a little reward somewhat without the sponsors. But
Very
what
little.
I mean, yeah, and to be honest, even when I think about, even at 54, do I think, you know, God, all these years of training, maybe I should do one comp, just get on there, feel what you guys are feeling.
Mhm.
But I've got to say, you got to budget for it. Like, you got to think to yourself, well, this trainer needs my money every week, and this needs that, and that needs this, and then I've got to pay entry fees. Like, it's not always just the fact that you said I want to train. You're actually putting yourself into a little bit of financial anxiety.
Oh my
You know what I mean?
gosh. It's a million times worse at the pro level.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying. Yeah,
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure the amount of money I spent last year, like just on competing, is absolutely ridiculous. But
Mm-hmm.
it's worth it because this is what I want to do with my life.
Keep going. Yeah, yeah.
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully one day the prize money will increase. Hopefully one day, well, I am going to win Olympia one day. So that $50,000 check will be really nice when I win Olympia one day. But what I'm really trying to do is just get as many good sponsors, people who support me, stuff like that. And that definitely helps make a difference. But to get sponsors is very hard as well. I am still paying off my credit cards for going to Spain and then the Olympia. So, and I even won $7,000 in 2 weeks. I didn't nearly cover anything.
Yeah. I think that's where I think I said to you, you got to look at it like a business. You got to create that brand of yours. I know I'll just let you know, you don't even need to become number one, which you will become number one, but you need to know that you're building a brand while you're becoming number one, because even becoming number one doesn't necessarily keep you alive after it. Because once all the hoo-ha and all the bells and whistles and everything's gone, what have you done with that sport? And that's what I mean. There's 100 athletes, and sometimes only a handful, maybe 5 of them become journalists, TV presenters. They've got their own supplement brands. Like, what I mean is, I guess I'm trying to say is, you know, Jay Cutler's done amazing. I mean, Jay Cutler's, you know, Cutler Cast and his own stuff, and he's done really well. I'm not trying to say Ronnie Coleman's any better or Dorian Yates or anything, but like even Arnold Schwarzenegger is probably the most famous bodybuilder, but he made himself famous. Like, you've got to make yourself famous. I don't know how you're going to do it, Chelsea, but you've got to work on making yourself famous.
I'm working on it. I've had some really cool opportunities. You know, I shot with Tovlo with her music video, stuff like that. So, you know, there's always opportunities, and I'm always looking for those opportunities. But I'm definitely trying to build a legacy. Because when I am done with competing, I want to have my own show one day. I want there to be like Chelsea Dion classic, or something real
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really good one.
Yeah, that's ideally what I would love to do. Get into like show promoting and stuff like that. I want to stay in the bodybuilding aspect 100%.
We'll do so.
So
So let's
trying to
go
make
with
my
that.
connections, trying to make my
Yeah,
connections now and stuff. Yeah.
it's all about networking, building brand. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I'm still trying.
Yeah.
2022, I have no words, just these amazing feelings right now. My very first Olympia, I can't wait for tonight to get final placing. So tell us about that. Tell us, like, now everybody who looks at Olympia, and that is the echelon, as the
Yes.
pinnacle of all bodybuilding. Tell us give us a visual of you going and all the superstars around you, males and females. How was it? And was it what you thought?
It was a blur.
I know. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, that's first and foremost. It was a blow. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually almost missed prejudging by literally a minute. So,
Why? How?
okay. So they sent out an original schedule and they said that we weren't going to be on stage till like 2 p.m.
Yeah.
So my makeup was originally at 5 a.m. She messaged me. She said, hey, you want to do, I think it was like 9. I said, okay, cool. Let's do 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we're doing my makeup. I still have to get another layer of tan on. And I'm watching the live stream and I'm like, they're on women's physique already. Like they're before us. And so here in Vegas, we had to take a shuttle from the host hotel to the convention center where prejudging was. So I go sprinting to the bus after I get my makeup done. My coach is also running behind with another athlete who is doing women's bodybuilding with me as well, Mela Ash. And I get on the bus, we get there, everybody lets me run off the bus first. I have my luggage with me. I'm sprinting through the expo, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh my God, here's the stress water like coming on, and I'm gonna look horrible. I get backstage and they're like, number 7, you're up right now. And I'm like, I'm not glued, I'm not glazed, I don't have my jewelry on, nothing. So they put me in line. They have all these people fixing my top, gluing me in, glazing me, and then they throw me on stage. So I didn't get to look at myself at all before prejudging.
Wow. That could have been a blessing in itself, but go ahead.
I think it was. So we get up there, they do first call out, and then they call me in the second call out, and I'm like, oh, first person in the second call out, and I'm like, okay, all right. So second call out, they always move me around like the most. I'm always the one being moved here, moved there. And so we get off stage, and like I was just so excited because I knew that to me, when they move me, it's because they're trying to figure out what they want to do with me. So I was really stoked. And of course, being with like all of the women's bodybuilders and seeing all these legends and stuff around, like it was really surreal. I like to think that I always have thought of myself as on their level, just not with the recognition yet. Like I've always seen like celebrities or fitness people like as no better than me. I just don't have that recognition yet. So to me, it was kind of like, okay, here's my moment of a little bit of recognition, and it was amazing. It was so cool. And to compete with like Margie Martin, it was her last year. She was the one who motivated me to go up to women's bodybuilding to begin with. And then taking top 10 in my first my first Olympia, beating some really seasoned competitors was very eye-opening. And so that's why I was like, okay, all right, like I might have a little something, I might have a little, this might work out for me.
Definitely, so many guys and so many people that I've spoken to who've done Olympia, and they tell me where their placings are, and just to even get into the teens, just to be 12th or 13th or top 15. I mean, it's quite an achievement for you to be in the top 10. I mean, you must have like gone.
Yeah, there was 20. There was 20 of us in 2022. So,
And
Cool.
2022 was the show after the lockdowns, and that was a big show. That was like a rock and roll show. So no wonder you were running for your life. The whole thing was just, I think everyone saw it as the blur, that show.
Oh, I am just so glad I made it, because that could have just ruined like everything that I had worked for, you know?
I know. And so tell us then about the second time at Olympia, 2023. And you said, I can promise that you'll never see me step on stage like that again, looking
Yeah,
like this. These feelings are not how you should feel stepping on the biggest stage of the world. Also,
yeah.
two major colds after the Olympia. So tell us about that.
Yeah, after the Rising Phoenix, I was just ready to get to work on improving.
Yep.
And I was ready to do what I needed to do to place top 3 at the Olympia. Like, that is my goal for 2025, is I'm going to be top 3 at the Olympia. And so I was ready at that moment to start that, but I still had 5 weeks to go for the Olympia. And the 5 weeks between Rising Phoenix and the Olympia has to be the hardest 5 weeks for me and for a lot of us.
Why?
And it's just, I think, because you just have to keep that conditioning for that next 5 more weeks. And I had just peaked, 2 weeks before the Rising Phoenix. So it was like back-to-back peaks. And then another 5 more weeks, and I was just like so mentally like not there. And it reflected in the way that I looked on stage. And I just remember I was backstage and I just didn't want to be there. And I hate that I feel that way. I hate it because it's such an honor to be there. And so many people do everything that they can to be there. And I was just like, can we get this over with? I just was over it.
It's crazy because 1 minute it's a blur and now you don't want to be there. So you actually want something in the middle now. You want something in the middle.
Yeah.
You want to be present. You want to be present and high-fiving people and not running and not being disconnected. You want to be connected.
Yeah. Prejudging 2022 was a blur, but the night show was awesome. We all were hanging out in the back, shooting the shit. And then this year it was just a little different too. There weren't as many girls, and I was just ready to just get it done. And I don't want to feel that way again, for sure. I want to step on stage next time and be like, I deserve to be seen because this is the best package I've ever brought.
I think you needed to experience both. So
I was going to say that. Yep.
Yeah,
so I think I needed a little humbling. I needed a little bit of humble pie. A little something to give me a little fight.
Yeah, I got a feeling. Yeah, I got a feeling you needed that, which is good because it will set you up. So before I go to the next question, I'm going to go to a hot topic question. So we're going to talk. What are men like out there? What's your view on the masculinity and men today? Are they strong? Are we softer or too sensitive to man up? What's going on with men out there? We're either what's the word? What's the word when you, Chris? What is it? We're either misogyn? I don't know what. No, narcissists, or we're weak. What's going on out there? Give us your view on us men out there today.
Thankfully, I haven't had to go like looking to date anybody in quite a while. So
that's cool. That's cool.
So thankfully, I don't have to think about it from that perspective. But I do feel like there is a bit of like a weakness with men nowadays. Not wanting to step up. But, also being a female bodybuilder, we do attract a certain type of men.
What do you attract? What do you attract?
The simps.
What's a simp?
You know that word, simp. Guys who would do like anything for us, who would get down on their knees and worship the ground we walk on, type of thing, which is totally fine. I mean, I'm very thankful for men like that because they also pay my bills. So
but go ahead. Yeah, keep going. Yeah, of course. We're going to get to that part too, but go ahead.
I do feel like there's a lot of kind of that goes on that people don't realize, because I think it's like people hide the fact that they're like that.
You know what? This is seeing you said simps and guys. I'm going to elaborate a little bit further. You know, online dating and online TikTok and online, and we're going to talk about OnlyFans, but I don't know much about that, to be honest. But let me talk about online. What I've realized is guys that sit on their couch with their phones really believe they're Casanovas, but they're not. And I'll tell you why. I know me when I used to go to a bar and I wanted to go talk to a girl, I was petrified. But I was willing to put up the courage to know there was going to be rejection, but I was willing to fight for my right being a man. Today, girls are falling trap to weak men that sit on their keyboards telling them they're beautiful when these guys, they don't even know how to strike a conversation. They're probably, excuse me, overweight, got no gentleman aspects. They probably couldn't strike up a real conversation. And that's what I'm saying is we believe what we've got this image of men across the board, but there is the simps, whatever you call it, and there is the guys that are masculine. And what I'm saying is the guys that are the keyboard warriors that sit there and go on dating sites, have fake profiles or do anything, and the girls fall trapped to that. And then what happens is we all get branded as those guys. But like I said, the true men do like I believe we are hunters, and we love to, we don't want the woman to fall prey to us. We like to hunt her down a little bit. We like the challenge that you give us. But again, this is what's, did you agree with that? Is that kind of like why we're seeing men?
Well,
the weakness of it. Yeah.
I think social media is really a big reason why some of these guys have become that way, like very kind of like weak, because they think that, they don't have to go up to a woman in person. They could just slide in the DMs, you know?
Yes.
And so, you know, I love manly men. So
yes,
there is No,
that's true. What I mean. Look, I know you've got a partner, and I've got a partner. But what I'm trying to say, I'm not. It's a topic. It's maybe Candace, whatever her name is, talking about it. Maybe Andrew Tate's talking about it. Maybe Jordan Peterson's talking about it. I don't know who. Joe Rogan's talking about it. But what I'm trying to bring up the topics that everyone's talking about. But I do believe there are fucking dicks out there that just don't know their place online. And some of them just jump on there and they're just trying to grass cut everyone. The worst thing is when you're at a bar and guys are grass cutting you for one woman. Like, calm down, bro. There's plenty out there for us all. And I think men need to just harden the fuck up. And just have a bit have a bit of stoicness. Chris loves that word, but you need to be a bit stoic. You need to not reveal everything. You need to be a bit of a CIA agent. You can't reveal that you're there to have sex with everyone in the room. You're going to have to pick one. You can't have sex with everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, that was that hot topic.
They have gotten quite soft though, for sure.
They have. Let's hard it. I know they have to. You have a few before and after shots, especially going back 10 years, 3 years. And so on that, at times, bodybuilding, you also mentioned that you had to reset. What was that? You mentioned there was times in your 10 years that, was it like moments you felt you took it seriously, then you didn't take it seriously, then you had to up the ante again? Was there moments? Was there phases in, phases out?
I would never say there was phases in or phases out with my training. I was always training very hard. It's always been something that I've really enjoyed. But I've always for a while though, really liked to party. And
that's what I was trying to say. Like, yes.
And so, you know, for a little bit there, it had gotten like the better of me, where I was spending too much time on the weekends, and then it would carry into my week, ruining my week and all those things. And finally, once I kind of got my life to where I'm like, okay, like those days are behind me. I can go to a
Yeah,
rave once a year and do all the things I want to do,
yeah, of course.
have some fun. But I've never been much of a drinker, but a party drinker. So if there's a party going on, I will drink, you know. And
It's all
so
or nothing. Sometimes it's all or nothing, and that costs us something in the end, doesn't it?
yes, I'm like one of those people that like I'll be up for days with everyone else, you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I really was, I would be on my shit on my diet for the week, and then I'd fuck it up on the weekends. And so I've started over millions and millions and millions of times. And so I always tell people that like sometimes you just have to restart, and that's okay. It's completely
Mm,
okay, because look
yeah.
where I am. I've restarted a million times. So
I think you're great. And just to let you know, I mean, we're going to talk to many people. You're the biggest superstar we've spoken to so far. So I'm very grateful. I'm going to let you know that I'm grateful. Okay.
thank
So
you.
even though we're about over halfway through, let's drop the shoulders. Let's not be so nervous, Steve. Okay. It's official. We're done for 2023 season. No longer sick. Now, growth phase. A great 23. You won Europa Pro. Fifth at
Yes.
the Rising Phoenix, and
Mhm.
eighth at Olympia. So you're building up for 2025, and I'm going to mention that as well. But tell us about the comps. Before we go on what's coming up, please let everyone know. Let's go back to the beginning. What was your first comp? We don't have to go so detailed, but
Yep.
tell us your first comp. Tell us the comp that you were feeling like overwhelmed at. Yes, and
Mhm.
obviously tell us a bit about the comps, your life in the
Okay.
last go.
Okay, so my very first show was in 2014, and I did
Yep.
women's physique.
Yep.
There was one other girl, so wasn't really like big competition.
Yeah.
And then 4 years later, I got on stage again. After my first show, I rebounded so bad. It took about 4 years for my body to get back to normal. So,
Wow. Explain rebound.
well, I couldn't control my eating, and
Uh-huh.
I put on 50 pounds in like a month and a half.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good for people
and
to hear that. For people to hear
it
that. Yeah.
was really hard. I remember laying on the bathroom floor, being in so much pain from eating food while laying on the floor, still eating cereal, like wanting to throw up, you
Isn't it
know?
funny? But that's kind of the reset I was talking about. I think it wasn't just your partying. I think it was just the rebounds. I think we weren't
Yeah,
balancing every. So keep going.
yeah. And so sometimes, it just takes time and shows to kind of like learn how to like not rebound so hard and kind of like
Yeah.
know how to reel it in. And so that first show was hard as hell. And then 2018, I competed again. Um, and that was that came up pretty cool because I originally had decided to focus on powerlifting that year because
Yep.
I randomly did some powerlifting, won 2 shows, was gonna get ready for nationals powerlifting, and Hani Rambod, 20 plus Olympia winning coach.
The
This was when I was
famous coaches.
Yes, this was when I was with Eva Jin as like an athlete. I was doing like demos for them. I would work the Olympia for them.
Okay.
And he told me, he's like, you are so marketable, but you need to just tighten up. So he's like, send me your diet and I'm gonna change some things. And I
No
want to see
way.
you. Yes. He's
Yeah.
like, I want to see you
That's
at like
big. That's
170. I know,
royalty.
exactly. So so
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, whatever Hani says. So
Oh
he
my God,
changes my
honey.
diet,
Yeah.
and then my body starts responding. And then I'm like, you know what? Fuck powerlifting. I don't even really like it. Let's get on stage again. And so
Can
I
I ask? What was? Come on, I want a secret. I need some
he put
secrets.
me
What was the honey secret? What
he
was
put
it?
me on keto. He
Keto.
put me on
Okay.
keto. Yeah.
Okay.
And it worked really well for me. I stayed on
You
keto
know
for
keto.
probably about a year.
Okay.
Yeah, and so then I did 2 shows in 2018. I did women's physique local show, qualified for nationals. Then I went and did nationals
Mm.
2018. Got last place, very last place. Got my butt handed to me. I looked not anywhere ready.
Yeah, go on.
And so that was the show that Andrea Shaw went pro at. Her and I guess we had chatted backstage and stuff, and she remembered me. And so after 2018, I got on stage again in 2020.
Mhm.
I did USA's. I took third, so I missed my pro card in women's physique by 1 point.
Yep.
And the two girls who went pro that show did not look anything like a pro. So
Yeah.
once I saw the comparison photos, I said, okay, I'm a little dense for women's physique, I think.
Yeah.
So right after that, I signed up with my coach who I'm with now, and that was 2021, January 2021. And I can't ever say his name. Haseen Nasir is my coach.
Yeah, good. I'll say
And
mention your coach. It'd be good to mention.
yeah. And so we prepped, and we were going to do women's physique again. But at the Olympia 2021, I met Margie Martin, and she's like, "Who are you? You
Wow.
look like a women's bodybuilder if I've ever seen one." And I said, "Oh, I'm going to do women's physique at nationals in 8 weeks." And she's like,
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Wow.
And so that was actually the weekend I met my coach in person for the first time. And I told him, I said, "Hey, I think we should go do women's bodybuilding." And because I hung out with Margie, Hele, Irene Anderson, all of those top women bodybuilders. I hung out with them that weekend. And he was like, "I agree." He's like, "Let's do women's bodybuilding." So two months later, in December, did women's bodybuilding for the first time, won the overall, won my pro card, and that's when I was like, okay, this is where I belong, for sure.
Wow. Nice journey. Keep going.
Yeah, and so we decided to just jump right into my pro debut, because a lot of people will take like a year off after they go pro just because, they need time. And I said, fuck it, let's do it, see where I land. And that season was probably the easiest season for me ever. I got lean so easy. I had never, like in that post, I said, I had never thought I could get that lean until I did.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, stepping on stage for my pro debut, I ended up losing to Angie, who is #2 in the world right now. And then going and doing Tampa Pro 2 weeks later and winning that show, and it being my first pro win and my second pro show only ever.
Yeah.
That was just like the coolest thing ever. Nothing is as cool as like winning and everybody coming up to you and like wanting pictures and you getting the cool sword, and it's
especially
just
a pro
so
show,
awesome. Yeah, so it was great.
Well, so tell us now, a whole year ahead, is it weird? Like, I'm assuming a comp makes you disciplined, but not having comps in 2024, how much more do you have to be disciplined?
A lot more. A lot more, because honestly, I love to eat. I really like to eat.
I love food too. Yeah.
And if there's anything that's a downfall of mine, it's that. And I'm really learning, every day that like if I'm going to be Miss Olympia, every single thing I do, even now, matters. Unfortunately. So I'm every day I'm trying to just be a little bit better, stretching more, staying on point more, recovering better, doing everything I can to improve my recovery, things like that. Now it's definitely like a full-time job.
Yeah, I got a cousin. He's a doctor, and which is great. He's a doctor, but he played rugby league, and rugby league is like your NFL. It's like your NFL, right? And he reached the highest point to captain Australia. Whoa. And I said to him, everything was kind of against his odds, because he wasn't actually. He's an Australian citizen, but he came when he was 2 years old from Greece. So not many people that came from another country and they are different nationality captains Australia. But I said to him once, I said, George, his name's George. I said, George, come on, man. I fucking work hard like you, but you seem everything has fallen into your lap, like all this stuff. I said, what was it can you tell me what was it that got you to reach those levels? And he said two things to me. He said this: when my mates asked me to go to the pub on a Friday night, I didn't go. I didn't go. He goes, I wanted to go, but I didn't go. Yep. That was hard. And that was also while he was studying to do medicine. So there was a lot of things going on. Yeah. And the second thing was, there was a bit of luck. When the opportunity arose, he said, a guy got injured. The coach said, you're on. And he said to himself, now that I'm on, that guy's not taking back his position. And that was it. So there's also that part. You got to know the luck part. Yeah.
100% like agree with that.
Yeah.
I'd like to say I've gotten lucky, and I've also had, I've also had like really good connections, I feel, that have also really helped me get kind of where I am, but I've built those connections.
You have.
And so being able to use those connections, it have kind of like worked out in my favor for sure.
You are. I can look. You talking to you now. You seem like a very friendly person, and you seem a little bit bubbly. I think you're quite bubbly. I think you enjoy conversations. I'm not saying that you're enjoying this one. I guess you are.
I am.
But I'm just asking. I know but we are having occasionally the internet connections. But you're doing really well. But so tell me now, this is the other thing. I think this segues nicely. I said, I want to ask you about these amazing photos, body paints. Let's call it quite creative, risque photos. You've got, I feel you have a little bit of a creative flair, and you're bringing your body to express it as your canvas and showing off that, you're an artist in some way too. You're like, is that true?
100%. I say all the time that my body is my art.
I can see it. Go ahead.
Yeah. And I've had a really good relationship with some of these photographers where we've been able to just create. And I really love a lot of the things that we've been able to do. And I'm really looking forward to recreating some of the things that I've already shot, but in a more shredded way. And I love just to be able to like express myself in that way. It's probably because like I grew up doing pageants, and I was a kid model, stuff like that. So it just makes sense why I am doing bodybuilding. Like, this is just a muscly pageant. Like, I grew up doing pageants, now I'm doing pageants, but for muscles, So any way that I can create content that is beautiful, that makes people like, kind of go, oh, wow. Like, I would have never thought like muscles would be so, beautiful.
Well, you're doing a great job. And I myself, every time I see someone painted in body paint and they're naked under that body paint, I must say I zoom in to see, where the fuck is that nipple? I can't find that nipple. How did they get rid of the nipple? I'm always zooming in going, what the fuck? Where's that nipple? Where's it? I'm looking for everything, but I'm saying they're just too good. Is she really wearing something? And especially your Christmas one, you look amazing in the Christmas one, but also felt like you seemed like some kind of Christmas dessert. I'm thinking to myself, like, so
we had shot that. So we originally shot the pictures where it's like red and gold and white. And then we smeared it all around. It became pink. And then the studio that we were shooting in just happened to have like a Christmas hat. So my girlfriend, who was like being the assistant, she was like, ooh, let's take some Christmas photos, and like put the hat on me. And so that was just one of the like raw images that like wasn't edited or anything. So I was like, oh, this is perfect for a Christmas photo.
I think with being, it was beautiful, sexy, whatever, it kind of reminded me of, especially the smearing. I went, it's like it was a Christmas cupcake. I'm going like, it looked like a dessert. You look like a dessert. But I did zoom in. I was like, where the fuck is that nipple? And I didn't find it. I hope my girlfriend doesn't mind. Oh shit, I might not end up with a girlfriend anymore after this podcast. So it was nice knowing you. But anyway, no, she was pretty cool about it. All right, 23rd of February, which is literally, what is it, 13 years ago? No, sorry, 23rd of February 2021, which is only a few years ago.
Uh-huh.
A wad of cash on that table. The weirdest, never in your wildest dreams, you were going to pay cash for a boob job. All right. Tell us about, yeah, you had all this. Was that American dollars?
Yes. That is
Chris,
something that
I'll just tell Chris. There was, it looked like she was Floyd Mayweather, showing off all this money. And she's saying that she's got to pay cash to get a boob job. So tell us about paying cash for it. Why couldn't you do tap and go? What happened?
Well, I've been wanting to get them done since I was like 12 years old. And so, with life being very rough and barely being able to afford my life or anything, that was never going to be a possibility. And then 2020 came around with COVID and I started making money. And so
we'll
I
talk
just
about
hustled.
that too.
I just hustled and hustled and hustled. And I, at the time, had just gotten my own apartment. So I was living on my own and all these things. And I was, finally was able to just spend the money and get my boobs done. I didn't have good credit at all. So I was never able to like get a credit card and just put on a credit card. So I had to do it myself. And to be able to pay the $9,000 in cash was a really big life milestone for me and the best decision I ever made.
$9,000, Chris, sitting on the table there. And I just thought, I have to bring this up in the podcast. What's the story about cash for a boob job? Like, did you go in an alley somewhere? There was gangsters there. Like, what's going on? Like, but it makes a lot of sense. I mean, it makes a lot of sense following your dreams. Everyone thinks that everyone thinks you're an overnight success, but no one looks at the 10 years behind the overnight success. Everything is an overnight success. Everything is an overnight success, but it's 10 years to get to an overnight success, in the making of an overnight success. Okay, so again, February 2021 was going to be your glow up year. Go pro, thrive, try, make people's lives better. Do your fucking thing. So how did the 2021 go? And have we been going well since 2021 to now 2024? That's February 2021. We're at February 2024. How's it all gone?
Basically, I want to say 2021 was the year that my life really, really took off because I went from, basically I like to say I woke up from getting my boobs done, a whole new woman and like ready to like start my life. So, but 2021 was the year I got my own apartment, lived on my own for the very first time ever, got my boobs done. I signed up with my coach who got me to going pro in 2021. And so 2021 was the year that my life really finally kind of like took off. For sure.
Nice. Okay. And explain, and I'm not sure if it's still apparent, but Wings of Strength Ambassador. Is that still valid today? What is it? So
in 2014, the Olympia got rid of women's bodybuilding.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So Jake Wood, who is now an owner of the Olympia, he decided that he could not let women's bodybuilding just vanish. So he did the Wings of Strength Rising Phoenix. So that became the Olympia for women's bodybuilding from 2014 to 2021 when they brought it back to the Olympia. And so he was really focused on keeping our division alive and helping the women of the sport. So they did sponsorships every year. And so a few of us athletes would be selected and they would help us get ready for a show. So whatever the price was, that we signed for, we were contractedly obligated to compete in that show that we picked. And so in 2022, my first pro season, I was selected, which was amazing. It helped out a lot. And unfortunately, in 2023, they got rid of it.
What?
They said Yeah, they said we've helped women's bodybuilding as much as we could, and so we're no longer doing the ambassador program. So it was really sad because honestly, it helped a lot financially.
It's weird because it's weird, I guess. The reason I say that is women always take over. They take everything from us. But now, at the moment, the Olympia is like 50-50. I can't say it's all male-dominant shows. There's so much females coming through from physique, fitness, opens, like, and you know yourself, there's a massive lineup now. So I can't say the Olympia, you can ever turn around now and say it's Hardy or Derek or anyone anymore. It's just, I mean, that's the final showpiece. I guess we need the final hurrah, but everything around it is incredible with C-Bum and I forgot the guy's name. Ryan. I'm not too sure who won. Raymond, who won men's
Ryan
physique.
Terry.
That Ryan Terry. Yeah. And even on the girls' side, and the Brazilians and the Americans and the this and the that, like the whole thing is, it's anyone's show. So I'm surprised that they would have taken something away that could, because women's sport and sponsorships, I think, growing at an exponential rate.
Yeah, they are a little bit, but women's bodybuilding, not so much. You know, we aren't as marketable. I mean, my goal as an athlete and a women's bodybuilder is to be that marketable athlete.
Yeah, you have to be. You have to be.
Yeah, and one thing that I've always thought that I thought was super cool is like at the Olympia in 2022 and 2023, they had huge posters of me up for like the Olympia gear and stuff. And it's like, you don't see that. You don't see women's bodybuilders ever in that position. So that's kind of like my goal, is to like always kind of be like that person that they could use as marketing.
I think you're smart. I think that's smart.
Yeah.
I think someone has to. I think someone has to put
Might
their
as well
hand
be
up.
me.
Yeah, and you might as well be tenacious. You're going to have to be. I think you're going to have to be. All right. So you seem quite open, courageous, not overly shy. But I need to ask about OnlyFans. Its significance to you.
Yes.
Your OnlyFans encounter page. I haven't been to it. I don't have it. I hear about it. I'm not shy of it. I'm too busy to, I just can keep up with my own social medias, let alone to be able
it's a lot.
And so, I have not, or don't know anything, but I am intrigued a lot. Tell me about it.
Well, I started it in 2019, and ever since then, honestly, I say that OnlyFans has literally changed my life.
And why?
Because it allowed me to pay for my life. It allowed me to start to have stability in my life that allowed me to focus elsewhere. So instead of having to work 2 or 3 jobs, now I started doing my OnlyFans. I was training clients in person, on the side whenever I could, because my schedule was now open, and it allowed me to do my bodybuilding.
So being that it was a tool to let you, because hear me out. What I'm hearing is, at the end of the day, for you to follow a career, you need to be creating income. But not only do you need to create income, you need to have time, and jobs can take you away from that time, and OF seem to not take your time. If I may ask, and you can share what you like, what is your OnlyFans about? Like, because me being silly, naive, a typical guy, I can assume 2 things. It's either raunchy or you're showing off your toes, and everyone loves your toes. I don't know. So what is it?
It's both.
Okay, it's both. It's raunchy and it's raunchy toes. It's raunchy
it's all
toes.
of it. Yeah.
But how do you build the brain to tell you this gets me somewhere? Because sometimes people go, they can judge you, but I'm assuming you know what you're doing. So judge me as much as you like. So go ahead.
Exactly. If people are going to judge me, like I
Go
could
for
care
it.
less. They're not
Go for
paying
it,
my bills unless
Yeah.
unless they're subscribing and they're still judging me. I don't care. They're still paying. So, yeah, I got in it very early.
Yeah.
It started in 2019, and so that's when I decided to start it. And I was never shy about promoting it on my Instagram, and so that's
Yeah,
why
no,
it kind
that's
of
what I'm saying.
always.
You're the only one, really. There's not many, but go ahead.
And I really don't promote it like on my on my Instagram now, like I used to. But if like people know, they know. So
well, the link tree gets you there, and
yeah, the link
you also
tree and stuff
and
like
you
that.
also do it, and you also do a few teasers. You got a few teasers going.
Yes, of course, of course. And you know, like Instagram is very like strict with showing certain things, even if it's artistic photos. Like I did a photo shoot, we call it like a body of art. And so it's like me in poses. Some of them are still up on Instagram, but most of them got taken down, even though there's like a censor bar across it. So a lot of it is because like I want to show off like some of these amazing photos that I can't just post on Instagram.
Yeah.
And people are curious what, you know, buff chicks look like naked. So
hey, you know what? I think I'm intrigued. I'll tell you what I'm intrigued about. I'm intrigued to know how you've worked out the formula to do it. Like I'm sure you've designed it in a way now where it's like you know what you're doing. It's not like before.
kinda.
Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? Like there's a craft to it where you know it's not just the limitations, it can be a little bit designed because you'll want to make money. So you know how to design it to make money. Is that
Yeah, and it's talking to people and stuff like that. And I always am telling, you know, my OnlyFans, like, I'm very thankful for you guys because, you know, because of you guys, I'm able to do what I get to do. You know, so
America's so progressive, man. So is Europe. Australia, we're behind.
A little behind, yeah.
We are behind. We're behind. We're a bit conservative at times. That's why I don't do OnlyFans, but actually I don't have no friends. So mine's an NF, no friends.
No friends.
I need to get OnlyFans, Chris, to get out of NF, no friends. All right, I need to. But having said that, another interesting topic, and then we're going to go over the body. Okay, we're going to go over the body. But is there anything I haven't covered? I think we've done pretty well. I think it's been a good podcast so far.
You've done very well. I mean, better than a lot of the podcasts I've been on. So,
thank you. You know what? It makes me happy because I want to be the best at everything. I'm very competitive. So whether I am or not, I don't compare myself. Yeah, I don't compare myself to anyone. But even as let's call it, even as a partner or lover or a guy, fuck it, I'm going to push for the best. And if there's others going for it, I like the competition. I don't want to be alone. So this podcast, like I said, I write my own scripts. I researched you. I stayed up late and I was fasting and I was hungry and I was about to collapse. And my dog looked pretty good for having salt and pepper on it at midnight, but I didn't do it. I didn't eat my dog. So interesting topic. Is the earth flat? And are you a conspiracy theorist like me? Or do we? Because I believe it's round.
Okay, good.
No, I don't. I think it's round. But is it flat? Everyone's talking about it's flat. Is it flat, Chris?
No way.
It's not flat.
No, it's not flat. But I do like to kind of like look into conspiracy theories and stuff. It's always like quite interesting to think like what other people can think of and you know what the possibilities are. But no, the earth is definitely round.
All right, and the next topic is do you think there's aliens?
Yes. 100%.
And why do aliens seem to go to America? Why does everyone want to go to America?
I think there's aliens everywhere.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they just go.
Do you reckon they're
America.
on the Earth? Do you reckon they're on the Earth now?
Yes. Yeah.
Go on, tell us more. Why? Oh, why? Come on.
I think have you seen Men in Black, right?
I've seen Men in Black, of course.
Yeah. So I feel like that they disguise themselves as us. So we don't
Awesome.
realize that they're walking around us, but I really do think that aliens do exist, 100%.
What about you, Chris? You think there's aliens?
There's too many
Chris.
universes for them to not, you know what I mean? Like that solar system is huge.
Yeah, I know, but it seems like they all want to. It seems like everyone wants to go to America to make it. So obviously, aliens fly many universes to come to America.
They heard about the American dream.
They got the American dream. You know what I mean? They all seem to want to get the visa in America. I don't know what's going on, but it seems like everyone wants to land in America. I don't know. It's a big earth. I don't know how they worked it out, but obviously you guys do very good ads around the universe and come to America and they come to America.
Yeah, good. That's a good one.
Thank you.
Are you fat up or fed up? Tired of boring food? We just cooked this from our What Should I Eat cookbook. It's also on an ebook, making it more affordable for you. So,
Get your copy at threeog.shop.
All right, let's go over the body. We're going to go over the body now, okay? What I'm going to get you to do is, well, I'm going to tell you a body part. Just give me one exercise, sets and reps. You're probably going to repeat the sets and reps. It doesn't matter. It's kind of more like, sometimes Chris grabs a few shorts and we might talk about a chest exercise and then he'll bring up a calf exercise. If you just said, just like I said when I mentioned chest, that's a different post. So we've got different posts going on. So let's start at the top of the body. Traps. Do you train traps?
Not really, no.
Not many do. No one trains traps. Okay.
I just shrug all the time. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't me. It wasn't me, officer. It wasn't me. All right, delts. Let's go with front delts. What do you train for front delt? What's an exercise you'd like to share?
That I would like to share. Oh, there's this one that you take like a close grip, like lat pull down. Yep. And you put the cable down low and you bring the handle up to like right here. And
hang on. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Raises like that.
Oh, yeah. That I've seen people do, bicep curls off the cable machine and lifting it up, but I never saw that one.
Yeah. So it's like constant tension that whole time. Like, it's a good one.
How many sets? How many reps?
I like to do 4 sets, usually like 12 reps.
Okay. What about side delts, outer delts? What do you do for them?
Any type of like obviously lateral raise. I like to do like behind the back cable lateral raise.
Behind the back. Yeah.
Where you're like stepping in front of it.
And how many sets and reps there?
4 sets, 10 to 15.
What about rear delts?
Rear delts, anything I love to do, just like bent over, seated, or like I'll take a cable and just pull it across me. Anything to really like anything where I can mentally isolate it. So I like to do a lot of like steel arm things.
And how many sets and reps there?
4 sets of 12.
Okay. What about we're on to chest? What do you do for chest?
I love one thing that I really love to do is I love to superset like incline dumbbells with plate squeezes.
What?
So you take like 2 10-pound plates, squeeze them together so you're on an incline. So you go straight up with it. So it really focuses on that little shelf.
Yep. Yeah. And also then you come out to the dumbbells and you do that as well.
Yeah.
How many sets and reps there?
I usually do like 3 sets of that because I'm supersetting it. So like 12 reps of the chest fly or the chest press, and then anywhere from 15 to 20 with the squeezes.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't there? How many experts are out there talking about that doesn't work, this works? It's just crazy the amount of people that haven't achieved anything in bodybuilding, but they're the expert. You know what I'm trying to say? I just like I said, some people, you know what I mean? So anyway, what about back? What do you do for back?
Oh man,
back
that's what I'm trying to build up.
The internet.
That's okay.
Yep,
That's one
go
thing
ahead.
I'm
What is
trying
an
to
exercise you could
build.
share?
Um, rack pulls. Rack pulls are really good for the back.
Go
And
ahead.
that's like traps too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is that the one where you pull to your face? Is that face pulls? Is that what you're?
No,
Is that right? Or
so
are you sitting rows?
no, so rack pulls. So we say you're in a big squat rack. You want to place the like safety bar like right below your knees. And so basically you're doing a deadlift, but
Ah,
not from the
sorry.
floor.
Yes, it's rack
Yeah,
pulls. Right.
rack pulls. Yeah,
Not from the floor. Yep.
yeah. So
Okay.
those
How
are
many
great
sets and
for
reps
building
there?
back. I want to go heavy with those, so we'll do 4 sets, anywhere from 8 to 10.
Yeah, that's heavy. Yeah. Bicep.
Mhm. Bicep, anything single arm and isolated. I like to do the cable. You put it up high and you stand from it and just flex the bicep.
That's a
Those are
nice
good
arm.
ones.
A nice arm. Okay.
Yeah.
How many sets and
4
reps?
sets of 12. 4 sets of 12.
Tricep.
Ooh,
Tricep.
I love training triceps too.
Yeah.
Honestly, just rope cable pull downs
Yeah, I love
with like
that.
a long pause at the bottom to really just get that squeeze, that
How many
contraction.
sets and reps?
4 sets of 12. Yeah.
Okay. Look, not that you do, but let me just go bits and pieces for the body. Do you do forearms at all? Do you have to hit your
I
forearms?
actually just started training them.
Oh wow, there you go. Because many say don't, many don't, guys. I do,
Yeah.
but I've
Yeah.
learned I just do a superset. I just do a like literally 20 curls, dumbbell curl things, with or whatever I do for the forearm. It's just a burnout set. What do
Yeah.
you do?
I just will like take a dumbbell, like a light dumbbell, and
Yep.
put my arm on something and just like
Yeah,
go
I
like
know
that.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing crazy. I just started doing it because I'm like, you know what? I should train calves and forearms since I'm like not really training hard.
Yeah.
So I can
And how
always bring
many
those up.
do you still have the same principle, 3 sets of 10 or 12, whatever it is? Is that what
Yeah,
you
I
do?
think I did. I was just like doing as many as I could.
Yeah,
So
okay.
like
Yeah.
burnout, yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Abs. What's an ab exercise you like?
Vacuums.
Everyone talks about these vacuums. Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of known for my vacuum, so
Mm-hmm.
it just is one of my favorites. I like to
How
do
do you
them.
do it? How do you do it?
So in
Besides
the
lying down and
mornings,
sucking in. Besides lying down, sucking in.
yeah.
But how long? How long do you do it for? Like, what's the exercise? How do you do it?
Honestly, I feel like I do vacuums like all throughout the day.
Okay.
Like, especially when I'm lean, I'm always like really focusing on like sucking it in and controlling it, letting it
now.
out. Like I do it, very often throughout the day when I'm prepping.
How long do you hold the vacuum in?
Couple, maybe 10, 15 seconds.
Okay, all right. Well, there's a tip
Yeah.
for everyone out there. Okay, what about quads?
Quads. Ooh, I
You've
love
got some great legs, by the way. So go ahead.
thank you.
Quads.
I love doing anything like heel elevated squats.
Yeah.
That puts the tension on those quads or
Heel
leg
elevated.
extensions.
So heel elevated means you put some weights at the bottom and you get your heels to sit on the weight and you do squats.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh wow! I did not know. It engages the quad better, does it?
Yeah, because of like when you're going down, like your knees kind of go over your toes.
God,
So
that
like
was such
knees
a,
over.
that was such a 90s thing. Now I'm going to do it again. I forgot all about it.
Yeah. We all used to be taught like don't let your knees go over your toes, but when you put your knees over your toes, you get more quad activation. So I really like to do heel elevated squats.
And how many sets and reps there?
4 sets of like 10 to 12.
Okay. And let's go straight to hamstrings.
Hamstrings, what's one that I really like? Single leg ham curls, RDLs. But I really like, single leg ham curls, just because I can really focus like on each leg. And because that's one thing That's one thing that I'm really really big on is mind muscle connection. So that's why I smoke weed before I train, because the mind muscle connection helps.
Really? Really?
Mhm. Yeah, I'm writing an article about it right now, actually.
Oh my God, I can't believe I
Um,
didn't cover that. Let's just quickly ask that question. Weed. Why? Why you're going to write an article, but what's the article about, and what's the not fascination? For me, it doesn't compute. Whatever you're telling me
yeah.
now does not compute. But go ahead.
So I'm writing an article for Amazon Fitness Magazine. It's a magazine basically all about women bodybuilders.
Mm.
And he asked me to write an article about cannabis and
Yeah.
working out. And I said, absolutely. So basically, I'm very pro 420. I originally started smoking before the gym, just in general. Like, I was never really someone who liked to smoke. But I found that when I would smoke before the gym, it would just help me with my mind muscle connection, and it completely changed my training.
Wow.
And so I would smoke just purely before the gym. That was it. Now I kind of smoke like later at night and throughout the
Yeah.
day. Um, but yeah, when you're just like high and in that like perfect headspace, like one, it helps with pain tolerance.
Yeah.
So you can push harder.
Oh
So
my
if you're
God.
pushing harder in the gym, you're gonna have better gains and stuff like that. So
Wow.
those are the
Aren't you,
two main reasons.
aren't you worried about the munchies?
No, if you're disciplined, you'll be fine.
Wow.
You just need a little
Smoking
discipline. Don't be a fatty.
Chelsea smokes weed before she trains for muscle connection.
Yeah, and
So
then I started
I
to
can't promise
realize
you.
that,
I can't promise you I'll do that. I can't tell you I'll do that, Nina. I'll probably sit in the
and
corner of the gym paranoid, thinking the weights are going to come and attack me.
yeah, sometimes, I'm a little too high and I will like try to not make eye contact with people and stuff. So like if people see me in the gym that I know, like I will purposely not say hello to them, not because I'm being a bitch, but because I'm like too high and I don't want to like, I'm always like kind of weird. So
That's so funny. That's hilarious. All right,
yeah, but
so good
then
for muscle connection. Yeah.
yeah, but then also too when I'm prepping and I smoke a bowl while I'm making my meal, it just helps me enjoy my meal even better. I'm like, oh, this is chicken and rice is so good. I've already had it
Oh
four
my
times
God.
today.
You've made up a dressing that's not actually there because you're so high. Oh my God, that sauce I made. Hang on, there was no sauce.
Yeah.
So single leg hamstring curls. How many sets, reps?
I like to do that with like a superset. So I'll do like 3 sets, 10 to 12 reps.
Okay. Let's go calves. Do you train calves?
Yeah, every once in a while we'll throw in like a couple sets. Seated calf, like standing or seated calf press, anything like that. Just as long as you get a good stretch at the bottom and good
I've heard about the
contraction at the top.
Yeah, I've heard about the bottom as well. People forget about the
Yeah.
bottom. Everyone thinks about the top, but everyone
Yeah.
forgets about the bottom part. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll do,
Jay Cutler might open my eyes to that. But go ahead.
but so I'll do like regular like this, and then I'll
Yeah.
turn my feet out, and I'll turn
Okay.
my feet in and do them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Chris has got big calves, but that's because he wears 6-inch heels. Someone told him if you wear 6-inch heels, you get big calves.
He
That's
wears
a joke.
6-inch heels.
That's a joke. That's a joke. The gluteus maximus. The glutes. What do you do for glutes?
I like to do glute bridges, just classic. My one girlfriend who has a huge ass, she started making me do them, and I started to enjoy them. So they've got to work.
Well, I feel weird. I feel weird as a bloke doing hip thrusters. I keep thinking that's my feminine side coming out of me.
There's nothing wrong with that. Your feminine side.
So being that we're at the pretty much the end of the podcast, I'm going to ask Chris, have you done your thumbnails and videotapes, and you get it from there? Okay. And what I'm and also that we've hosted her and you've got me in the picture and her in the picture. Have you got video for that? Okay, good. We're very busy here. I'm trying to remember everything. Tell us your sponsors, anything. Where can they find you? Tell us everything everyone can find, how they can find Chelsea. So go
All
for it.
right.
Go
So
through the list.
mostly you can find me on Instagram. It's Chelsea Baby, ChelseaBabyy. I did have a YouTube channel that I was documenting everything on that got removed, unfortunately, on Christmas Day. So now I've started my new YouTube channel over.
Oh,
But I'm a little not motivated to continue doing it, honestly. I might switch over to like Rumble.
mm,
But I'm not sure. I'm taking a little break from YouTube. So yeah, you can find me on Instagram. I have quite a few sponsors, so let me kind of like think for a second. We got Amino Asylum. You can use the code Big Red to save 20% for that. That gets you all your peptides, all those great things. I'm sponsored with MIT45, which is a kratom company. They are absolutely amazing, and they are doing really big things for the bodybuilding community. They actually just came out saying that they are now they're upping the men's open bodybuilding prize money. So they are adding all 21 men's bodybuilding shows. The prize money goes from 5,000 up to 10,000. So they are doing some really big stuff in the bodybuilding community, and you can shop for them at the link in my bio. I have my suit sponsor, Radiant Physique Wear. She's amazing. I've been with her since 2018. Her name is Rachel. She is the best. My suits are beautiful, so that's just, proof right there. We are also with Body Bling Jewelry, who provides all my competition jewelry. Been with her since 2018 as well. We have my HRT clinic, which is Rise HRT. They do all of my hormone replacement therapy, my GI protocols, all that stuff. I have Prozis, which is a supplement company that is, I think they're based out of like Europe, but they're working on getting more in the US. They have so many products. It's like crazy. They have like food, they have all the supplements, they have sauces, they have clothes, they have more things than you could ever imagine. You can use code Big Red for that. We have Blackstone Labs, can't forget about them. PJ just got out of prison, so he's back, and there's some big things that are going to happen with them. And then my bodywork girl, her name is Karen Garrett, Fixed by KG. She works on all of the best of the best. Nick Walker, Sean Clarita, Jen Dory. She works on all of them, and myself, and she's become like family, and I love her. And I think that's it as far as my sponsors. Protan, I'm with Protan as well. I just signed with them after Rising Phoenix.
Okay.
So they sponsor, they do all the tans for all the big shows, the Olympia, stuff like that, and they're all over. So they're doing big things. But yeah, I think that's it. It's a lot.
Well, that's a lot. That's right. All right, so so they
Yeah.
can find you, like I said, on Instagram.
Instagram.
Well, I just want to say, I want to say thank you for coming on. I also want to say you are a superstar. You are a superstar. I did, and I had quite the delight going through your socials.
Cool.
And
Thank you.
I think you are going to be top 3. And I'm looking forward to seeing you become number 1 and realize that I actually interviewed you or you're on a podcast. I think we're going to be chuffed, because I think after that point you're not going to want to know me anymore.
Oh, lies. I'll have to come back. Come back and do another podcast.